The Cashon Show, where sports talk gets real.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cashon Show on this beautiful afternoon. Today, we have a jam-packed show. We've got a couple of breaking news for you out of the college football world. You got Penn State Franklin, the ex-head coach of Penn State, James Franklin, does agree to a deal with Virginia Tech to be the Hokies' next head coach, as well as some interesting news right here at home with Tennessee's Boo Carter being kicked off the team but after Saturday's performance against New Mexico State, where he did not dress out for, some NFL news, and more. So without further ado, we're going to bring in our other analyst for today's show, Greg. Greg, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. How y'all doing today?
Greg, let's just go ahead and start out with this. Alabama versus Oklahoma, your opinion?
Well, my opinion is Alabama destroyed Oklahoma in the stats, yardage, gain, everything, but still lost the game. But when you turn the ball over 3 times and give Oklahoma 3 shots at scoring inside the 30-yard line, I mean, for the most part, they stopped them for field goals. But, I mean, when you turn the ball over that many times, it don't help. And then you give up a long punt return to set up another go-ahead score. It don't help. And then you can't really run the ball. I think we had a total of 80 yards rushing. And that's just not going to cut it.
So, honestly, at this point in the season, where do you think Alabama is playoff-wise?
Well, I see the polls. I'm interested to see what happens tonight, see where the college football playoff projections are. But right now, they got them at 10. And I don't think they're that far. Shouldn't have dropped 6 spots. I mean, with the schedule they played and who they're playing, I mean, they just got beat by, the number 11 team in the country? Well, and they only lost by 2 points.
Let's not forget that Oklahoma team did come into Neyland and properly smacked Tennessee around very easily.
I mean, a lot of the, I don't know, but I partial toward Alabama, but there's a lot of teams in the SEC that really hadn't played no tough SEC schedule.
No.
And, I'm not calling on no teams, even Texas A&M. They got Texas coming up in a couple of weeks, which really to be honest with you, don't mean nothing. Because even if they lose that one game, they're still going to be in the playoffs or in the SEC championship. I think it's already set unless Alabama gets upset at Auburn and knocks them out of the SEC championship, which if they lose to Auburn, I don't think they should be a playoff team either.
Right. And
because that's 3 losses. I myself don't think 3 loss teams need to be in the playoffs.
Right. And, I agree with you 100% on what you said about the SEC teams. You're right. Honestly, if you look at it, Georgia, Tennessee, Bama, the SEC is having a down year this year, in my opinion. I mean, you've got a Tennessee team who, let's be honest, the expectations were set high this year with new offensive line, new defense, new quarterback, new receivers. 8-4, 7-5 seemed like a realistic expectation, but somehow or another we got all these 11-2, 9-3 expectations. But honestly, the SEC has not been that tough this year. Georgia, in my opinion, has struggled. I know
all year.
I know I might get some feedback from it, but Georgia, it seems like all year it's been close. They're not the dominating team that can roll over you like years before. Bama, y'all have had some issues this year. I mean, except when it comes time to beat a certain opponent, that always happens in Tuscaloosa.
But it's like I read today. I mean, like somebody was saying, I read it or heard it today. I mean, looking at Oklahoma, Alabama has, to be honest with you, they've never beat. I think they beat them one time out of the last 6 or 7 times they played. And that even goes back to Saban. Saban could not beat Oklahoma. And I don't know why, but he couldn't. He never did when he was there. He always got. I mean, honestly, when Alabama and Oklahoma played, it was a double-digit loss, big-time loss.
Right.
But then Oklahoma beat us. We beat Georgia, who beat Texas, who beat Oklahoma. So where does it go?
Georgia can't beat y'all.
Yeah. So where does it go?
I mean, well, on that note, talking about Oklahoma, Georgia, and Texas versus Georgia. I know that was a game that kind of surprised me because I figured Texas was going to give Georgia a little bit of a tougher time, especially the way Georgia's played this year. Kind of, let's just say, in my honest opinion, not really played the Kirby Smart standards. They've been sloppy some of the year. But I tell you what really stood out to me, one penalty the whole game.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry, but that's kind of close to the Kansas City Chiefs a couple of weeks ago. No penalties.
Yeah,
I mean when do you watch a college football game, no penalties or one penalty?
Yep, that was. I just watching the team all year. They're not a very disciplined team, and I was just shocked by that.
I was too.
I wouldn't. I mean, honestly, if I would have picked on this game, I'd have picked Georgia by 2 to 3 touchdowns, because I just don't think Texas. I mean, I don't think they're that good a team.
No.
I mean, they beat Oklahoma, who was number 11, but they played Oklahoma. Oklahoma didn't have their quarterback. He was out with that hand issue, so he didn't play in that game, or he played very limited if he played. And it was I think it was his first game back, and he played limited. And that's a rivalry, the Red River rivalry. It's just kind of like the game's not this week, but next week. I mean, next week you got Vandy. Where is it at? Is that at Tennessee or in Vandy? Or then you got Georgia and Georgia Tech.
Next week's game is in Neyland versus Vandy at 3:30 kickoff on either ACC or SEC.
I mean, that could go either way. And you got Georgia and Tech. That's the last 2 to 3 years. It's gone down to the wire, and I don't know. I've liked how Tech's played the last 2 weeks, having to come from behind, and now they got a tough opponent this week, playing 7:30 in Tech, but they're playing Pittsburgh, who can put up points and score. So we'll just have to see. I mean, it's going to be a couple of weeks interesting.
Yeah,
there's some teams that could get eliminated, and some could. I mean, what happens if Georgia gets beat by and don't get in the SEC and gets beat by Tech? Where are they going to drop? I mean,
it'll be interesting. I
know that'd be a big win because Tech's top 20, top 15 team. But like Alabama, if they lose to Auburn, in my opinion, that'd be 3 losses they don't deserve to be in.
Yeah, and I'm
looking forward to. I do not like conference championships because it's really not fair. Because say everybody runs the table like it is, Texas A&M will play Alabama. All right, that's for the championship. Alabama loses to the number one, a lot of questions. I think they're the number 1 team. I think they're ahead of Ohio State a little bit. But they lose to them in the SEC championship. That's their 3rd loss. And you just lost to the number 1 team. So how far will you drop? With the schedule they played.
I think it'll be very interesting. I'm looking forward to this week because my own Volunteers, they're going to have a tough matchup because as well as everybody, Tennessee does not go to the Swamp and play well. It does not matter how good of a season we're having, how tough of a team we've got. We always go down to Gainesville and struggle and come back with an L. And this is, honestly, I know Tennessee is pretty much out of the playoffs, but we're still holding on by a thread. This is a must-win game. That's like next week's must-win versus Vandy.
And you got Michigan, Ohio State in 2 weeks.
Right, and the question just is, can Tennessee, especially the news that come out last night, Saturday, Tennessee beat New Mexico State, I think 49-3 or 40 something to 3. But everybody says the same thing. Tennessee came out in that game. You just lost a game to Oklahoma that pretty much almost eliminated you. You've had a couple of losses this year that you really shouldn't have. I mean, let's go back. The first loss of the season, Georgia, I still honestly do not believe that should have been a loss because there was a couple of holding calls and pass interferences that should have got called on Georgia. They got slid. That led into the overtime where our kicker missed the field goal. But you can't really pick and choose on all the penalties. But, you've had a tough season. You're not living up to expectations. You would expect Tennessee should have come out last week and throttled New Mexico State Saturday because you'd be thinking, okay, I want blood. I want to go out there and pop somebody. Yep. But Tennessee kind of showed up kind of lackadaisical, not really performing up to normal standards. But now comes out after the game, one of our best defensive backs, Boo Carter, has now been dismissed from the team. You go back into the summer, Boo Carter had some issues with the team, didn't report to fall camp until later, was out in Colorado, stuff like that, issues. Tennessee took him back with the understanding he will have to work his way back into the fold, as Heupel said, earn his way back, earn his place back on the team. He had a couple good games early in the year, and then you started seeing him kind of tail off where, apparently he got hurt, stuff like that. And then something happened. We don't know what happened, but something happened coming into this week. All of a sudden, he's been removed from the team. It's already come out, and he's already said he's hitting the transfer portal. You always want to wish these players best of luck. But at the same time, like Heupel said, you have to have, it's the same way at Bama, same way at Georgia. Playing at Tennessee, you're being held to a certain standard on the field and off the field. And Boo Carter was not apparently holding up to that, so Tennessee let him go. He's going to hit the transfer portal. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. Already, they're talking about the two biggest top places he might be looking at is Bama, which kind of go figure because every time Tennessee has a player that struggles with issues and gets kicked off the team, they end up going to Bama. Look at Henry Tola, who quit on Tennessee and transferred to Alabama, another good defender. And Kentucky, two of our biggest rivals. It'll be interesting to see how Tennessee does without him moving forward for the season. But, I mean, at some point, this opens up the question again, NIL.
Yeah, NIL. I think it's the most ridiculous thing. I mean, I honestly, I don't believe players should be paid.
I don't either.
I mean, yeah, the school gets money off of these players for playing a game. But what about the other businesses out here where people are doing their regular jobs? They're not getting paid no extra money because they're doing their job for the business. I mean, these kids are already getting a full paid scholarship to come to the school, which other kids that aren't an athlete have to pay thousands and thousands to come study. But
I give you 100%.
I think it's ruining college football, and just like this guy from Tennessee, it'll probably come out and, he wants to play. And, like you say, you got to earn your spot in these teams. Because some of these top teams, the second and third string player would be a starter at some of these smaller teams.
Well, I mean, and let's just look at, you go back earlier this year, this ain't the first time Tennessee's had a high-profile player depart via transfer portal. Let's go all the way back to April. Nico Amaliva
went to UCLA.
Left for UCLA, and part of the deal was money.
That's
now, granted, I am going to come out and saying I think all Tennessee fans agree with me. We got the better deal that trade because we got UCLA starting quarterback Joey Aguilar, and Aguilar has been good this season. I think we got the better deal on that, and Nico has struggled big time over at UCLA.
Well, he's done for the year. Nico's injured.
I mean, it's just one of those things. But transferring over from college, let's talk about NFL real quick.
Yep.
More breaking news out of today. Michael Penix Jr., I believe it's Jr., isn't it? Out for the season with an apparent knee injury. Same knee I believe he hurt in college.
Yes, it is. And the same one he hurt with earlier in the year when he had to miss a game or two with a bruised knee.
You know, I think we talked about this earlier.
I think he's been playing scared all year. I don't know why.
I think so too, because I've seen him a couple times versus Buffalo where.
But then again, I mean, sometimes I don't understand. I mean, it could be the play caller. I don't think him and the offensive coordinator are meshing because, I mean, he can throw a heck of a deep ball, deep slant, deep out patterns, and Falcons just don't do it.
Mm-mm.
And I don't understand it. I mean, he's got one of the best passing arms there is, but
it makes you wonder how long is Arthur Blank going to put up with Morris at the helm of the Falcons and Penix with the quarterback.
And then you got the offensive coordinator who I don't know. But the last, 2-3 weeks, every week it's something. 2 weeks ago it was, I forgot. Penix throws the ball down and cost them points at the end of a half, end of the game. Last week they gave up all them big plays. This week, in overtime, the second play of overtime, they give up a 56-yard bomb to get them in field goal position. I mean, where's the defense? I mean, what happens? First half, you're playing lights out. What happened? I mean, it reminds me of the New England game in the Super Bowl. Falcons up by 24, 27 points, and kind of like the Texas South Carolina game. South Carolina up 30-3, and I don't know. But I did notice on another point, I noticed Kansas City went down again.
I've seen that.
So they're trending downwards, which is a shock to me because I think they got the best head coach in football.
And I see the 49ers pulled off another victory this week versus their opponents. So
and Buffalo played a tough Tampa Bay team who Tampa Bay's on a little skid now, 2 in a row. And you got Carolina who's, I hate to say it, but Carolina's 6-5, one game out of the first place in the division.
Over into our other favorite pastime that we cover on Southeastern Sports, baseball. Looks like the hot stove and the winter season's already kicking up with a few minor free agent signings where hopefully the Braves will open the pocketbook this year. I know I've seen a report where AA made a statement that he wants the Braves to have the top 5 payroll in Major League Baseball, so hopefully he's going to open the pocketbook some and help him out. What do you think of the Walt Rice signing?
My opinion, I don't like it. I just don't think he's the coach to get us over the hump. I mean, he's been here before. He wasn't a head coach, but he's been here as a coach, a player. I don't know if it's an Atlanta thing, but the Atlanta franchises, none of them, the Falcons, the Hawks, even now the freaking the soccer team. They've done fired another coach after, they came in, and that's another Arthur Blank team. But I don't know. The ownership don't go, I would say, outside the box and look for a coach. I mean, you got a guy sitting out there in the Dodgers, one of their coaches, that I think they should have went after full throttle and got him down here. And not the head coach out there, but I think it's their pitching coach or.
You talking about the guy that was a rumor to be in on the job?
Yes, I think, but Atlanta don't go outside the box. None of their franchises do. And we just sit here. We don't go. I mean, like free agency. The Braves could have got 2 or 3 players. And we don't do nothing. We just sit. We pick up some of these pitchers and. But that's their history. I remember back, 20 years ago, they gave away the phenom, Brett Butler, for Lynn Barker, because he pitched a perfect game. He came here and pitched like 2 games, and he threw his rotator out or something. And it's just been the history.
Of course.
I'm shocked, to be honest with you, that the Braves still have, what's his name, in the outfield?
Acuna?
I am shocked that he's still part of this team.
I think he's become the face of the team. He
Yeah.
don't go nowhere. But and of course, here at Southeastern Sports, unfortunately, we want to make sure we congratulate the LA Dodgers for another World Series title.
Yeah, 2 in a row.
I'm just going to put this out here. Don't get too comfortable because Atlanta's coming for you in 26.
We better make some changes if we're coming.
But as always, that's all the time we have for today's show. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, our newest sponsor, Dubby Energy Drink, as well as Tammy Cakes, and the Eileen Lindsay Memory Movie Museum, and East Tennessee Media. Also, folks, if you want to be a part of the show, drop us a message on Facebook, and we'll be more than happy to add you to the show moving forward coming up. And if anybody wants to donate to Southeastern Sports Media so we can continue bringing these quality shows to you and more, our Cash app is up in the upper hand corner, and we have been putting it on the screen. Greg, as always, we're happy to have you on the show. We're glad that you were able to spend time and sit down with us and talk tonight.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
And as always, I'm your host, Scott, for the Cashon Show. We hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful evening. And as always, be careful and be safe out there. And we hope everybody has a wonderful night.
The Cashon Show, where sports talk gets real.